If you have a trip to Europe booked for this summer, you've probably seen the headlines. Dangerous heat waves in London and across much of Europe, flight cuts driven by soaring fuel costs, and new border control lines that are making people miss their flights home. It looks incredibly stressful, but you do not need to cancel your flights. You can absolutely still have an amazing vacation, as long as you have a realistic game plan. Today, we'll break down how to build a flight itinerary that can survive a cancellation, why carry-on travelers are still missing flights after security, and how to avoid letting the heat take over your vacation. Let's start with the most unpredictable part of the journey, the flights. Airlines have recently trimmed routes and reduced capacity as European jet fuel inventories face renewed supply pressure. While the system is adjusting, you still want to make sure your itinerary is resilient enough to handle a sudden change. One market worth watching is Spain. The country currently has a stronger fuel cushion and greater domestic refining capacity than several more import-dependent European markets. Because of that, Spain's aviation system may be better positioned to handle a physical fuel supply crunch. But that does not make Madrid, Barcelona, Iberia, or any individual itinerary cancellation-proof. During a major disruption, a non-stop flight is still usually the simplest option. If you must connect, the smarter move is to prioritize a hub with several same-day backup flights, rather than choosing an airport solely because of a positive fuel headline. The main strategy here is to look closely at your recovery options. Avoid routes that operate only once a day. A smaller airport is not automatically bad, and a mega hub is not automatically safe. What matters is flexibility. If your flight disappears, are there 3 more departures that afternoon, or are you stuck until tomorrow? And once you land in Europe, ask yourself whether you need to fly again at all. For shorter regional trips, consider taking the train. A high-speed train may take longer on paper, but once you factor in airport security, baggage claims, transfers, and potential runway delays, it can still be the lower-stress choice. That solves the flight issue. It does not solve the border. If your trip takes you across an external Schengen border this summer, you need to know about the EES, or Entry-Exit System. This new digital border system applies mainly to short-stay non-EU travelers crossing the external borders of the 29 European countries using the EES. Instead of relying on a traditional passport stamp, the system creates a digital record that may include your travel document details, facial image, fingerprints, and the date and location of your entry or exit. Some travelers, including certain residents and long-stay visa holders, may be exempt, so check the official rules for your specific status before traveling. Arrival lines can certainly be brutal, but the departure lines are the ones that can cost you a flight. Because the EES has to record your departure when you cross the external border, passport control may still stand between you and your gate. That catches a lot of travelers off guard, especially those who think traveling carry-on only means they can arrive at the airport late. Skipping the bag drop counter saves time. It does nothing to eliminate security or exit passport control. For a long-haul international departure, use 3 hours as your starting point, unless your airline or airport recommends arriving even earlier. Once you clear security, find out whether exit passport control is still ahead. Clear it before stopping for food, coffee, or duty-free shopping. Before you travel, also check whether your specific border crossing supports the official Travel to Europe app. But the app has an important limit. At participating locations, eligible travelers with biometric passports may be able to pre-register their passport details and facial image within 72 hours before entering or leaving. That can remove a few manual steps. It does not allow you to skip border control. The app also does not pre-register your fingerprints, so those may still need to be scanned in person at the border. Do not assume standard travel insurance will automatically cover a missed flight caused by a border control queue. Read the missed departure section of your policy before leaving, and keep evidence showing when you arrived at the airport. Once you clear the border, the next threat is no longer the terminal. It is the temperature waiting outside. European architecture is beautiful, but during a major heat wave, historic city centers can turn into giant heat magnets. Stone, brick, concrete, and asphalt absorb heat throughout the day and release it slowly into the evening. And because powerful air conditioning is not as universal in Europe as it is back home, you need a clear daily strategy. The first step is to stop organizing your day as though every hour has the same temperature. If you are flying in from a different time zone, you can use your jet lag as a practical advantage. Instead of fighting that 5 a.m. wake-up call, get up and explore outdoor ruins, public squares, or popular landmarks early. The streets are quieter, the light is better, and the air can feel dramatically cooler than it will at midday. By mid-afternoon, shift your schedule toward shaded attractions, an air-conditioned museum, a long lunch, or a thick-walled historic church that stays naturally cooler. When booking accommodations, read recent reviews carefully instead of relying only on an air-conditioned tag. Cooling systems can range from powerful central air to a small wall unit struggling to cool one corner of the room. Search recent summer reviews for words such as hot, air conditioning, top floor, cool, and sleep. Your packing list should also favor comfort over style. Leave heavy denim and thick, non-breathable fabrics at home. Choose loose, light-colored clothing made of linen, lightweight cotton, or technical fabrics designed to move moisture away from your body. Carry a refillable water bottle and take regular sips before you feel thirsty. Take breaks in the shade, especially during long walking tours, and do not ignore signs that the heat is becoming dangerous. If someone becomes confused, loses coordination, faints, or has a seizure, treat it as an emergency. Stop sightseeing, move them into shade or air conditioning, begin cooling them with cool water or wet cloths, and call for medical help. Across the European Union, the general emergency number is 112. The goal is not to power through every planned attraction. It is to recognize when continuing the day is no longer safe. Now for the part many travelers underestimate. The hygiene product most travelers reach for first is not the one that works best against the stomach bug they fear most. Norovirus can spread quickly through contaminated food, shared surfaces, and close contact. An alcohol-based hand sanitizer does not work well enough against norovirus to replace soap and water. Your most reliable, everyday defense is washing thoroughly with soap and running water before eating and after using the bathroom. Sanitizer is still useful when a sink is unavailable, but it should be treated as a backup, not a complete replacement for hand washing. In most major European destinations, you do not need to treat every fresh salad or water tap like a health hazard. Use normal food safety judgment. Choose busy restaurants where food turns over regularly. Avoid buffets where dishes have been sitting warm for hours. And be cautious with food that looks poorly stored or has been left uncovered in the heat. Tap water is safe in most major European cities, but local conditions can vary. Check official local advisories rather than relying on rumors or assuming that every region follows the same rule. If an advisory warns against tap water, follow its instructions for drinking, ice, cooking, and brushing your teeth. Finally, do not pack leftover prescription antibiotics and start taking them on your own if you get sick. Many common stomach illnesses are viral, so antibiotics will not help. Taking them unnecessarily may also cause side effects and contribute to antibiotic resistance. Instead, pack a small Ziploc bag with familiar over-the-counter essentials, oral rehydration packets, basic pain relievers, allergy medication, and antacid tablets, such as Tums. Keep important prescription medications in your carry-on rather than checked baggage. A small medical kit takes up almost no space and gives you access to products you already understand without forcing you to explain your symptoms at a pharmacy while you are feeling miserable. Europe is absolutely still worth the trip this summer. The difference is that travelers who build in backup time, choose itineraries with recovery options, verify the air conditioning, and understand the border process are far less likely to let one disruption take over the entire vacation. The goal is not to eliminate every delay, heat wave, or long line. It is to make sure none of them gets to decide what the rest of your trip looks like. If you have traveled through Europe recently, what is the one survival hack or itinerary adjustment you swear by? Drop your tips and stories in the comments below so other travelers can learn from them. Subscribe for more practical, straightforward travel breakdowns. Pack light, leave more time than you think you need, and I will see you in the next video.